I usually close with one or two stories, and I close with it every time because this was given to me by a friend. I don't think he's on this earth anymore. I haven't seen him in years. See, at one time, every tribe had some kind of a ritual where they would say, from this time on, you are now a man, or you are now a woman. And they're expected to take their place in the tribe, whatever it is that was given to them to do. Some tribes call this a vision quest, to use a phrase that is probably well known to everyone else. This young man woke up one morning, and in his heart he knew it was time. He felt it. He got some blankets together and a couple of jugs of water, walked over to his father and said, it's time for me to go. I need to go find the spot and sit and wait. Well, his father, having gone through this, knew what he was talking about. He said goodbye to his son because he knew sometimes, every so often, they never came back. The young man went and told his mother goodbye, and she knew he had to do it. He gathered his blankets and the jugs of water and walked off, headed way up into the sacred spot in the mountains. And as he went up, he started to think what he was going to have to do when he got there. And he got to that sacred spot, laid his blankets out, laid his jugs of water down, and turned to the sky and started praying. Started singing the sacred songs. And dancing at the same time. Praying, singing, and dancing. Did this all day long. At the end of the day, when it's time to lay down, he thanked the Creator for bringing him to where he needed to be. He laid down, went to sleep. Got up early the next morning. Started praying and singing it again. All day long. Dancing and singing and praying. And it had been a hot day and a long day. And he was tired. He laid down and went to sleep after thanking the Creator for another day. Third day he got up. Started singing and praying. Started dancing, singing and praying. Toward the middle of the day, he started to tire out. He hadn't eaten anything. All he had was a little water. And that was it. And it was hot. And he was in the sun. And doubt started to come toward him. Doubt started to come and say, maybe you're not supposed to be here. Maybe you're not supposed to find anything. Maybe you're not supposed to see anything. Maybe you don't have anything to do. Maybe you're not supposed to see a vision or find that place in the tribe. Now, we as humans, at some point in our life, we go through this. Doubt. Serious doubt. You doubt yourself. You doubt your vision. You doubt everything. But this young man decided he wasn't going to give in. He felt the doubt. He saw the doubt. He heard from that doubt. But he said, I'm going to keep on. And he kept on. He kept singing and he kept dancing. And after a while, the doubt went away. But as it got down toward the end of the day, he turned around and he noticed, as he looked out into the sky, that the clouds were turning dark. And they started to roam and come over and roll and roll and roll. But there was no thunder. There was no lightning. And he kept looking at them. As he watched them, they came right over him. Till he looked up. And then as he looked back out into the horizon, his vision had changed. He could see way off into the horizon. He could see everything that was going on. He could see where the enemy was sitting, hiding from them. He could see where the game was. He could see where all the fruits and the vegetables that they eat were. He could see everything. And he realized in his heart, he had been given the chore of being a scout for his tribe. Being a scout for the tribe is a huge responsibility. It's a great responsibility. You know where the enemy is, so your people aren't going to get killed. You know where all the food is, all the deer, the buffalo, everything. You know where all that is at. Your people aren't going to starve. This is a great responsibility. This is a great honor. The young man turned around and gave thanks to Abamiko and gave a victory dance and sang, and he was so happy. It was dark, so he decided he was going to lay down. He laid down and went to sleep. He got up the next morning, bright and early, thanked the Creator, sang a victory song, and walked over to gather his blankets together. But as he did, he looked, and in the middle of one of the blankets was a rattlesnake. The rattlesnake curled up and looked at him and said, where are you going? Take me with you. The young man said, no. Our people say not to have anything to do with you. Our elders tell us not to have anything to do with you. That you're dangerous and you can kill us. The rattlesnake said, no, I'm not going to do anything to you. Everything's going to be all right. Just if I stay up here, I'm going to die. It's cold and there's no food. You don't want that on your heart. Take me down with you. The young man said, no. The Creator tells us not to touch you, not to fool with you. Our elders say not to have anything to do with you. My mother and my father said we're not supposed to touch you. The rattlesnake kept arguing with him, and the young man was tired. He wanted to go home. He wanted to see his parents. He wanted to get started on what he was told to do. So he looked at the rattlesnake and said, get in the middle of the blanket. I'll take you down to the foot of the mountain, and I'll let you go. So the rattlesnake curled up in the ball, and the young man picked up the blanket, carried it all the way down to the foot of the mountain. At the foot of the mountain, he set the blanket down. And as he opened it, the rattlesnake jumped up and bit him. The young man screamed, no! You said you wouldn't do that. You said you wouldn't bite me. You said you wouldn't hurt me. As the rattlesnake crawled off, he said one thing. You knew what I was when you picked me up. You knew what I was when you picked me up. To everyone who hears this story, I say this. You know the things that can hurt you. You know the rattlesnakes out there. The drugs, the alcohol, the tobacco. All these things can hurt you. You know that. And as they leave you when you're dying, they will say, you knew what I was when you picked me up. You knew what I was when you picked me up.